This is, of course, Down to the River radio show, basically speaking at you from the slushy shores of the North Saskatchewan River right here in scenic Prince Albert, Saskatchewan. And on the line with me today is the amazing and very, very, positive and highly spirited Sass Jordan.
Thank you, Scott.
So sometimes you just gotta laugh, I guess. Well, now what I was gonna say to you is the last time I saw you was at Edmonton Rockfest in 2017, and from what I remember, you were the consummate performer there because you were battling.
I was sick as a pig. That's right. Oh my God, I was so sick. Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
yes, it was horrible.
Yeah,
but yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
That's
and if
right.
people are paying you to do it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I survived.
Indeed.
And luckily, I don't think too many people were aware of it. So that's what matters.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't have known had I not chatted with you underneath the stage after. Although I believe, from what I recall, you were still enjoying a nice glass of wine to, accompany the festivities. You and Lee Aaron, I remember, were hanging out.
Wow, you remember way more than me. But yes, I believe alcohol is a wonderful medicine for. Yeah. Once again, not to be misunderstood. It's a wonderful medicine when it's used in a judicious manner.
For sure.
It's just like anything else. I mean, if you drink too much water, you can die.
Indeed, yeah.
You know what I mean? You drink too much alcohol and you won't enjoy it. It's not going to be good.
Well, now are you launching a new brand of whiskey? Like what's up with that?
Well, I'm not launching it yet because, needless to say, in this particular time frame that we're currently living through, most things are on hold.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, But I will be launching it in the future for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very excited.
So you've been through. I mean, I don't know the process that goes along with making sure that whiskey makes it out to the public, but I mean, how hands-on have you been in this whole process? Like you've gone through tastings and so on and so forth.
Oh, absolutely, yes. You got it. You have to do that, and then and in my case, I was very involved in the artwork and the graphics for the label.
Yeah.
And also the choosing of the bottle and all of that stuff. So there's quite a bit of stuff that goes on, but we're only partially through the process because then you have to go, like in Ontario, where I am, all liquor is government controlled as far as spirits is concerned, right? So it's all government controlled, and you cannot sell spirits anywhere but at a liquor control board outlet. You know what I mean? So you have to go into partnership with them. Yada 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 yada. Yeah, that's a thing. It's a thing, baby.
Now, just given the fact that we're discussing this right now, I mean, how does this whiskey taste? I mean, is this one of those sweeter, kind of smoother things?
No.
Or, I mean, could you basically, if you blew some of it out with a blowtorch, could you light a fire or what?
That's pretty funny. I pretty much think you could do that with any 40 proof or over alcohol of any kind.
Yeah. No, that's
you
true.
can definitely light. I mean, it's flammable.
Yeah.
As far as the taste, that's a challenging thing to ask me, Scott, because it's very difficult to describe a taste. Like, you know what I mean? As well as the fact that it's so subjective. So I do not personally enjoy things that are too sweet. I'm not a huge fan of super sweet stuff, which is, goes against our cultural norm, especially, or societal norm anyway, especially in North America, where I find things are sickly sweet most of the time, like a cereal, or if you go to a Starbucks or something like that, and they make you a drink that has like whatever in it. I always have to go half sweet, please, because I can't even stand the level of sweetness. So that being said, this whiskey is very smooth and very layered in its taste profile. I think it's amazing. I don't know how to explain it, really. That's the best I can do.
Yeah, no, I mean...
It's Canadian whiskey blend. It's
right.
Canadian whiskey blend. And it's not harsh. I mean, quite frankly, all whiskeys are harsh to a degree.
This is
true.
true.
It's spirits. It's alcohol.
Yeah.
So it would be a vodka or anything straight up. But as far as the whiskeys that I have tasted in my life, of which I have certainly not tasted all of them, because I don't think I'd be standing. Actually, maybe I'd be more preserved. Maybe I'd be better preserved if I tasted all the whiskeys on the planet.
It's quite possible, Sass.
But this, I think it's, I love it, of course, or I wouldn't put my name on it.
Yeah, well, now, I mean, you mentioned the whole process of getting it approved in Ontario and so on and so forth. But I mean, I would imagine now once that process happens, you're, planning a full rollout to other provinces. Like, are we going to actually be able to get this thing in Saskatchewan? Because my wife loves whiskey, so I feel obligated to ask you.
Well, I love your wife right now. I think she's fantastic. I think you need to get her a T-shirt that says "Whiskey is my spirit animal," and I love that about her. I really do. I think whiskey is it's a very underground, well, it's relatively underground in the female population. It's interesting because it has a very specific niche in the female population.
Yeah.
It's like beer, there's this thing called the Society for Beer Drinking Women. Which I think is so genius.
No kidding.
Because it's not traditionally, even though, I mean, there's millions of women that drink beer, but it's just not traditionally seen as a female drink, such as, some like wine or white wine, or, you know what I mean? Or champagne. That's seen more as a woman's drink, ironically. Isn't it funny?
Unfortunately, in this day and age, I mean, it's, what can you say?
So silly.
Yeah. But it's called
gender-related booze.
but it's called Rebel Moon whiskey, am I right? So I mean,
correct.
Of course, like, a little over a week ago, what was it? On Friday the 13th, Rebel Moon Blues, your latest full length and your first full length in quite some time, drops. I mean, which came first then, the whiskey or the blues?
Let's see. Let me think about this for a second because I have to get the timeline. Oh, the record came first, but it wasn't called that until I came up with the name for the whiskey, and then I thought, you know what, that's a great name for the record as well.
Yeah.
So I got it. I used the name of the whiskey for the record. I didn't use the name of the record for the whiskey.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
It does. It does. No, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess then in the grand scheme of things, right, like, if you don't count Racine Revisited, which was, I remember you and I talking about this a few years ago, that was basically you had gone in and you had re-recorded the Racine album with a bit of a new taste and a new flair. But I mean, this is kind of the first record of, I guess, not original, but like unique material in quite some time.
Right.
So I mean, I guess in this day and age, the operative question, just to kick things off here, would be, what took you so long to put out something of the nature of Rebel Moon Blues, Sass?
Well, here's what happened exactly: is that somebody in my camp asked me to do it. And they certainly didn't ask me to do anything else. You have to think about things in the context, as an artist or a career artist, in my case.
Right.
You have to think about things in the context of what is going on in the world of the business of music, So if I put out a record like I did in 2012, which was a bluesy rock type project, heavier rock, more kind of, I'd say even definitely heavier, much heavier, more heavy riff rock. And I did that in 2012, but I didn't put it out under my name. We released it under the name of, it was me and a guy called Brian Tishy, who's a drummer and guitar player that I've known and worked with since like the early 90s.
Oh, and he's absolutely
on a record
brilliant.
Called Rats. He certainly is. Anyway, so he and I did this project together, Something Unto Nothing, and put out what I consider to be some of my best work ever. And it did absolutely nothing. And I don't think it has anything to do with the quality of it. I think it has to do with the fact that there were just absolutely no avenues available for us to get it out there, really. You know what I mean? Like, you would not believe the difference in what's happening with this particular record, Rebel Moon Blues, because it's on a label that has an infrastructure and knows what the hell they're doing. You know what I mean? To get it into the hands of people who can get it to people who are curious to hear new stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that right there is what makes all the difference in the world. So as far as me making a record, you know, I have to find myself in a position where the type of music that I'm making or that I'm doing has an avenue to be heard. You know, I have to. So this one, because I was asked to do it, by somebody who had the means, you know, a company that has the means to get it up there. And that is, besides the fact that it's good, I think it's really good.
I wouldn't disagree.
Besides that, you know, besides that, I mean, that sort of has to be a given, more or less.
Of course.
Anyway, for somebody like me.
Yeah.
Not necessarily for everybody, but for somebody like me, that's a given. But it's the fact that, you know, there are actual, I keep saying that same word, avenues that are working, you know, and people are actually paying attention. And this is like international attention right now. It's astonishing.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely wonderful. And I am totally thrilled because really, it's about energy in the end. Music is just frequency, energy, frequency, vibration, same as everything else. And what is unique about what I've done is me. That's it. There's nothing else. I didn't write the songs except for one of them. Do you know what I mean? And why would it be any different if I did it? Well, it's not better. It's just different. It's me, you know, and the people that like what I do or enjoy the energy they get from what I do, that's who I made it for. I didn't make it for the people that don't like it. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't give a shit about them.
Fair enough.
Pardon my French.
Well, now, you know, it's interesting that you would, I mean, I hate to use that term covers because I think when you do the blues, it's so much more than that. But I will say that, you know, with the tracks on Rebel Moon Blues, I mean, they sound like your songs, which I think is really the brilliant aspect of what you're doing. And I think, you know, there seems to be a pretty distinct avenue. I'll use the word as well. There seems to be a pretty distinct avenue for releasing blues in this day and age, right? Because what I'm seeing is a lot of artists that have had kind of traditional sort of bluesy sounding voices are starting to put out blues records. I mean, is there something kind of stirring that's allowing this to take place?
I can't actually. First of all, with you and I both using that word this much, the word avenue, we're going to end up with a village pretty soon, just you and me. Yeah, Scott, we got a village full of avenues, baby. But to your question, I don't really know. I can't answer what's going on with other people, really. Do you know what I mean? Am I seeing a trend? Is that sort of more the question? Like, I'm seeing a trend. I don't really know the answer to that because I don't pay that much attention. I cannot tell a lie.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I don't really care. Well, we got into that.
Yeah.
But I just don't. It's like, I hope that people are doing what makes them happy. That's what matters to me. If there's a lot more people doing blues, hallelujah and good on you. If there's a lot more people doing rock, same there. Same jazz, soul, hip to the hop. I don't care. Do what you love and share it with the rest of us.
For sure. Well, now, let's talk about the sound of the record, because you've got a pretty traditional bluesy sounding record going on here. Am I wrong, for instance? What can you tell me about, the making and the creation of a track of that nature? Because that's a pretty high powered, very spirited track.
Oh, thank you. I love the stuff that you're saying. It's so nice to hear. What I can say about that is that just like the rest of the record, actually, it was done on the spot. In other words, no overdubs at all. We just in that particular song, it was me and Chris Cadell.
Uh-huh.
Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Ow. I forget if it was me and him and Jimmy Reed, or if that was too much alcohol. Maybe there was too much alcohol and I'm wrong. I cannot remember. But at any rate, what I'm trying to say is it was either just me and Cadell or me, Cadell, and Jimmy Reed in the room.
Right.
And we had just finished a Starbucks run, so everybody was caffeinated and very happy. It was before noon, I know that for sure. And we just did 3 takes, and that's what you got. One of those takes. Yeah. And so it's extremely raw and incredibly fun. That's the way I see it.
It sounds like you guys are having a blast on the whole record now.
We really are. Yes, we totally are. Because you can't fake that. You can't fake having a blast. Okay, it rings fake if it's fake. Do you know what I mean? And we just had so much fun because we enjoy each other as people, and we all enjoy music, and especially creating it together. It's so much fun.
Yeah,
it's just so much fun. Yeah.
Now, I was going to mention as well, but back in July, of course, you I guess for lack of a better word, re-released the Rats record, 25th anniversary colored vinyl edition. And of course you did Racine Revisited. So is this something that you'd consider doing with some of your other records as certain dates and anniversaries start to happen?
I don't think so. I think those two were the most significant. Obviously the first one as well, but I don't think I'm interested in looking back anymore. Does that make sense? I'm more interested in looking forward at this point.
Yeah. So
you can never really rule anything out, because something will happen and all of a sudden it makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But from at this particular time and place, I don't see looking back anymore right now.
That's fair. That makes sense. You're working on different things and different projects, obviously, over the last, at least over the last 6 or 7 years that we've talked off and on. It is nice to see you basically tip the cap to that amazing legacy of music that you've put forth, in particular in Canada, but I know you've made inroads in other places. Just a general broad swath of a question, but what's the most significant lesson that you've learned, or even just words of advice that you've kind of picked up along the way that you feel it pertinent to share at this point in your career, Sass?
Oh boy, that sounds scary.
I know that was a giant question.
Holy mackerel. And it just sounds so. The guru will now speak. I want you all to sit cross-legged, and I will come up with some words of wisdom, which is, who gives a you-know-what? I say that, I think I said it earlier, I say, if you're doing what makes you happy, who cares what anyone else says or thinks?
Yeah.
I'm assuming we're not talking about, murder or anything of that nature. I'm talking about, stuff that doesn't hurt anyone else,
Yeah.
shall we say. And I'm not making that, again, can be misconstrued because, well, you hurt me. There's a lot of that going on in this day and age.
That's true.
So I just say, if you do what makes you happy, that's it. Period. End of story. I feel that when you do that, you'll find a lot of people gravitate towards you because it makes them feel happy. You're never going to get the whole world on board because that's not the way it works. But would you want the whole world on board? I feel that could be a little heavy. I think you're way better off with the people that resonate with what you do, and we'll leave it at that. You know what I mean? Like, we don't want the whole world.
For sure.
That would be a problem. Yeah. So that's, and I mean, you look at the way things happen now. It's just, and as we speak, Scott, everything is changing under our feet. I mean, there is no solid ground right now, So I think the best thing you can do is do what makes you happy and learn how to balance. Because you're going to have to, ain't you?
Indeed.
And we're all in this together. We're all in it together. There's that. It's a bit of an equalizer, I'll say.
For sure. Well, listen, Sass, it's been great talking to you. I'll plug the record one more time. It's called Rebel Moon Blues. It dropped March 13th. So, get it wherever records are sold or stream it on your favorite platform because it is definitely worth your time. You are going to hear Sass Jordan like you have never heard her before, but she just slots in so perfectly to the blues genre. It's a pure joy to listen to you, Sass. Thanks so much for chatting with me today.
Oh, thank you, Scott. It was fun. Thanks for making me laugh.
No worries. All right. Bye-bye.
Until the next. Bye-bye.
Indeed.